So right now we're getting into kind of the peak home selling season right here in San Diego, when typically we see a bigger number of homes come onto the market, but this year that has not happened. So why has that not happened? What's happening with the current homes coming onto the market, the total number of homes on the market, and how's that affecting everything? That's what we're gonna get into today. Let you know what we're seeing, boots on the ground, what's happening here in the San Diego real estate market, and potentially why sellers are on strike and not put their homes on the market. So let's get into it right now.
Hello, I'm Cassidy Lewis.
And I'm Chris Erickson.
And we are both real estate agents with the Beach Life Group here in North County, San Diego. And if you are thinking about selling your home around here, definitely get in touch with us, book your discovery call. All the info is popping up right there.
So the first thing we're gonna get into is new listings, new homes coming onto the market. And typically, like I mentioned, this is the time of the year where we see the most amount of new listings. So we kind of, if you're looking at a chart, it kind of starts dropping down towards the end of the year, maybe a little bit flatter in January, February, March starts popping up. This year, we have not seen this part going up a little bit. So we haven't seen that initial jump in the spring selling season.
And kind of as a whole over the last 2 years, inventory has just been low. That's just how it's been since 21, 22, and even now in 23, it's even lower than that. We're 40% lower on new listings. So that's a big number when you're thinking about demand and a number of listings that you have an opportunity to go out and look at.
And so while 2022 was a crazy year, during this time is when we saw extremely low inventory, but there was more active homes coming on the market, but the buyer demand was super aggressive. So there was a lot of buyers out there getting multiple offers on every property. This year is a little bit different. We're starting to see a little bit of that, but it's not to the still frenzy that we had in the previous years. One of the things that when sellers don't decide not to sell, meaning less new listings coming on, is that there's also less buyers out there. So, usually when you sell your house, you're gonna become a buyer as well. So that second part of the equation has come out of it. So we are seeing still strong buyer demand, but it's not as crazy as it was last year. In total, sales are down about 33% or about a third from 2022.
One of the big reasons there's not a ton of new listings is because a lot of folks are locked into mortgages that are in the 3%, even the 4%, like for the folks that bought more recently. So like that is a hard decision to make when you've got such a low payment or such a low mortgage rate to then sell that house and get into a new house at between 6 and 7%. That's a tough decision because that's a really big difference when you're looking at a loan. That difference between 3.5 and say 6.5 is a large chunk of money.
And not only is interest rates higher, but the prices of homes is much higher as well. So compared to a few years ago, we're up like 40% from what homes were selling for in like 2020, 2021 to where we are now in 2023. So not only is the monthly payment, if it was just the same price of a house, gonna be more, but also the initial purchase price of the home is gonna be more. So people are kind of comfortable with their current payment. They're comfortable with their current, even if they bought it a few years ago, property taxes were lower because the purchase prices were lower. So if you're moving into a new home, not only is the price of the home going to be more, but the interest rate's likely going to be more, and then your property taxes is going to be more as well. So the people who are moving right now are people who need to move. To help build even a clearer picture of kind of what's going on, you got to take the entire market, the active listings, not just the number of new listings coming on the market, because even if the number of new listings was lower, but homes weren't selling or not selling as fast, the total number of homes for sale on the market would be going up. Unfortunately, that is not happening as well. So it kind of gives you, is there a balance in the market, or are we skewing towards our buyers in charge, our sellers? Do they have the upper hand? Right now, we're kind of, it was balancing a little bit, but we're kind of starting to skew a little bit towards sellers, how we did have it in previous years. And something that did just recently happen in San Diego is the active listings just dropped under what it was last year, meaning we do have less active listings, meaning the buyer demand is there, meaning the sellers are gaining that upper hand a little bit more than they did over the previous 6 to 8 months.
So one of the numbers we look at a lot to kind of give us a good picture of what the market looks like, what inventory looks like, is month supply of inventory. So what that means is if nothing else came on the market, how long would it take to sell all the homes that are currently on the market? And that number is up from this time last year. It's about 6 weeks, and the trajectory right now is definitely going down, and it's going down quickly, closer, heading down towards that 4 weeks, which is what it was last year.
So what's the story being told with active listings, new listings, all these numbers we're throwing at you? Basically the story is, which we mentioned, we're starting to skew a little bit more towards sellers having the upper hand, where in the earlier part of this year, January, February, a little bit of March, when interest rates were a little bit higher, the buyer demand, the number of buyers out there wasn't as many. As we get into the traditional buying season and traditional selling season as well that we have seen in past years, the demand from buyers has seemed to increase, and usually in past years you would have new homes coming on the market to satiate some of that demand. But since sellers are on strike right now, we're not seeing that.
And just kind of a quick overview of what that means if you're a seller. There's a really good opportunity to get multiple offers right now since there is that demand. We are seeing multiple offers in a lot of cases, so it's definitely a good time to sell. If you're a buyer, just get ready for competition. It's not going to be like it has been in the last couple months. You will be competing a little bit more than these last, kind of the start of the year. And if you are thinking about making a move, we are with the Beach Life Group here in North County, San Diego. Get in touch with us. We'd love to set up a discovery call, and we love helping people move in and around North County, San Diego.